Hi everyone, Allie at My Safe Place here. I've been doing a lot of reading and watching videos and trying to learn as much as I possibly can about this whole narcissistic thing, cluster B abuse thing, discovering what was really going on, and saw a really interesting post by Jeff Brown on Facebook. And I like a lot of his stuff. And what he said specifically really spoke to me this morning. It was about how some people can recite their issues and problems, um, almost like reciting a grocery list. Like they cognitively and consciously know what they are, but there's no real connection to it through the emotional body or through the pain body, and that this is sometimes where psychology and psychotherapy can go wrong, in that we're not getting into the real pain of things, the real feelings and emotions, and what's going on with our bodies when we fail to connect in that way. And that really spoke to me, especially with what's been going on, and what happens to me when I don't look, when I go into my fight or flight response, instead of really connecting what's going on. My body always gets sick. It's just the way I am. And I started to realize that a lot of the healing work that I've done on my own has been focused mostly on studying the narcissist or the cluster B manipulative person, what their red flags are, what motivates them, how their brains are different, how they do this on purpose, how you can't love them out of it. And I started to realize that that was just more of the same old, which was taking me out of myself and looking at someone else instead. So it's a form of projection, I think, in the way I'm feeling about this right now, is that I'm, by focusing all my attention on what it is that they're doing and how they play the game, and trying to make myself less of a target for it, I'm actually still playing their game, and I'm still assuming that the answers to my healing are outside of myself. So being the total Star Wars nerd that I am, I decided that it was time that I stopped being the droid that they're looking for. And the best way I could figure to actually do that was to spend a lot less time looking at their red flags and start paying attention more to mine. Now, having grown up with what I have now discovered, well, I guess I've known this for about 4 years, is that I had a narcissistic mother, basically a borderline personality disordered sister, and probably, and my brother's in there, but he's kind of a lost child in all of this. He's much younger, and I'm not sure where he fits in all of this. And my father's passed away, but my father was very much an enabler, and in part it was cultural. In part, I feel it was because of his Italian Catholic upbringing, that once you were married, that was it. I also feel that he was quite easily manipulated by my mother and lied to. So, and we did have a moment of reconciliation and healing right before he died. So I have a lot less anger and pain around my dad because of that healing moment. But I did realize that, having grown up in a family like this, that I was absolutely trained as a survival mechanism. This is what I learned to survive, that I had to repress and suppress and deny all my feelings, all my emotions, all my needs and wants in favor of my mother's. And that's why I think I've carried on the outward focus, as though focusing in on the narcissist is the answer. It's the way out, and it's not. It's the way in. So some of the steps that I've decided to take on include really, I guess this will just be the first one. I'll stick to one, and it's not necessarily in any chronological order. But I think this one that I'm going to talk about right now is how important it is to actually own my story, to forget about how other people might have had a much worse situation, and I know they did, than I did. That does not negate the importance of exploring what my situation was like and what my pain was. So I've decided to really delve into that and start looking at what my red flags are, how my red flags work, and how I can know myself better and start playing the game in a way that suits my highest good, with the understanding that being kind to other people does not require that I be unkind to myself, in spite of the way I was brought up. And that because I was brought up in a household like this, as Pete Walker says in his book, Complex PTSD, From Surviving to Thriving, people who've grown up in a household like this, or even had a relationship or a marriage or a friendship like this, are trained slowly over time to accept unfair treatment as normal. And so we're taught to get these lemons thrown at us constantly and learn how to make lemonade out of the lemons that are thrown at us, and get really, really good at it, and even be positive about it, and not go into how painful it is, because we're taught we're not allowed to have any pain. So one of the first things I have to do is stop making lemonade and stop saying, because, I can be the lemonade queen. I can make the sourest thing really, really sweet. Oh, look at all the gifts, and look at, the silver lining and flip side to every story. And I can do that till, the cows come home. Well, what I'm really not good at is going, that sucks. Fuck you. I'm not good at just accepting that some things are unacceptable. So that's one of my first steps, is I'm going to stop paying attention to what their red flags are and start paying more attention to what's going on for me. And that means going back through my past, not my favorite thing to do, and exploring where I was hurt and how I was hurt and what that was like, and actually staying grounded and not going into my automatic fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode. And for me, it's severe dissociation. I dissociate and disappear like nobody's business. So I actually have to stay in this pain body, and I have to be conscious of what it is that caused me pain, because until I know what it is that caused me pain and what I was trained to do that caused me pain, I'm not going to be able to stop myself from entering into it again, because that's the way our brains are wired. We are wired, neurons that fire together wire together. So in order to create new neural pathways and new awareness in our ever plastic brain, which is wonderful, it means we can make the changes, I need to stop looking outside. I need to start looking inside, because looking at the narcissist or at the borderline personality disorder or at the abuser, basically you're still cutting yourself off from yourself. You are not going inside and saying, what is it about me? What is it about the way I tick? What is it about the red flags that I have that have allowed me to continue to permit someone to throw lemons at me and to insist that it's normal and to demand that I have no negative reaction to it. There's something wrong with that. So I got to learn how to do that. And I think that that's a crucial first step in this effort to stop being the droid that they're looking for, because it is about programming. It is about understanding the language of the program that you were given through childhood or through a relationship, understanding that that language is very, very familiar. And at the same time, understanding that if you're going to reprogram yourself, if I want to reprogram myself, I am going to have to learn a foreign language. And it's going to be hard. And I'm not going to have the vocabulary. And I'm going to want to slip back into that old programming language because it's familiar and because I know it and I kind of know how to deal with it. But it's just the same old, same old. And that if I really want to get healed, I got to reprogram the droid. I got to use a whole new language. And there may not be a lot of people out there who speak the same language from whom I can learn. I might have to do this from scratch. And you know what? That's okay. I'm going to learn that language. I'm going to learn what causes me pain. I'm going to learn what triggers me and how. And I'm going to go there. And I think it's important at some point, as much as I love support, and people telling you about red flags and writing about red flags and being experts on the abuser, I think it's time that we start becoming experts on the people who are trying to heal. And I don't like the word victim. It's not my favorite victim. So let's just use the word target. And we can stop playing their game, because they change the rules to suit the game, and no matter what, they always win their own game. And we've got to take ourselves out of their game and eventually just start playing our own. And I really think that by playing our own game, we become a tougher mark. I don't think it's possible to hope that we'll never be abused again. But I truly believe that we can spot it faster when we're paying attention to ourselves. And this probably means reworking our intuition, which has been repressed, reworking our emotions and feelings. We have to retrain all that. So when people are saying to us, oh, trust your gut, or trust your intuition, or you'll know because of your feelings, that doesn't apply to some of us who've been raised by a cluster B personality disordered parent, or in that kind of an enabling codependent family. Those things have been programmed to do the opposite of what we need. They've been programmed to allow us to feel familiar in very dangerous situations. So I think the first step in reprogramming is going within for the purpose of reprogramming your gut feelings, your intuition, your sense of what is right for you, your sense of what's good for you, and your sense of what is even fair to you. So step one, stop being the droid they're looking for. Hope that helped, and I'll start working on some more, because I think there are lots more steps that I'm going to be taking here. Thanks for watching.